Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to discuss um, something I had touched on an older video, and I also spoke about this, probably about 2 years ago, something like that, about the dream state. I had quite a few people reaching out, talking about the lucid dreaming that's going on with them right now, and as far as delusive dreaming, we know that when that happens, we have control over certain things, right? We're aware that we're sleeping, and therefore it's like free for all, right? We get to do whatever we want. But the weird thing about it, they're saying that even though they know that they're dreaming, they really can't do the things that they used to do. I mean, I know for me, when I lucid dream and I'm aware of it, I'm like, this is so cool. I'm going to fly to this place and I'm going to do this, and in a blink of an eye, and it's becoming more structurized. Okay, like there's limitations. I got into actually a 2-hour conversation with somebody had called me up about what's been going on with him lately. Like I have explained probably about 2 years ago, I'm not even sure, the dream state and the awake state is starting to merge, where you're really no longer doing the crazy, insane things you used to do when you were dreaming, whether you're aware of it or not. When you wake up in the morning, go, wow, I had a dream I was flying, and they're really becoming limited right now. It's kind of more structured. Like I said, more limitations. There's not that much difference between that state and this state. Okay, and they're kind of like this, and they're kind of colliding into each other. I'm going to give you an example. Okay, I've been grouting my tile in the bathroom. So yesterday I was completely exhausted after doing 2 walls. I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I decided to take a nap. And I must have been sleeping about an hour, and I was dreaming about my mom, who I've not dreamt about in maybe like 10 years. I maybe dreamt of her once or twice in 10 years. She has passed a long time ago. And in the dream, it was my understanding that she brought all these cats, and we were, she was always a cat person. I'm a pet person. I'm an insect person. I love all things. But in my dream, I understood that she brought all these cats for me to play with. Okay. And I was so excited. And like I said, it was very, I wasn't jumping in the air doing flips. It was really structurized like this. And I was playing with these cats, and I was running through these mazes that she had built, or they were there, or whatever. And my mom was sitting back and she was laughing because I was having so much fun. And I'm going through like if you've ever been to, because I used to paintball a lot. I used to run a paintball team a few years back, and just those obstacles, I'm running through them and having fun, and the cats are following me, and some of them are ahead of me and beat me at it, and it was just so much fun. So I go through this other obstacle where you have to like squeeze through before it closes, and everything is like blown up, balloon kind of things, inflatables. And I run through it, and the cat already ran through it, and she was sitting there waiting for me. So I was like, okay. So I says, come on, let's do it again. And my understanding, like reading the cat's mind, she just wanted me to pick her up and hold her. I was like, okay, I'm going to pick you up and hold you. Just then my son knocks on the door. And I'm like, no. I'm like, just let me sleep. Come on. I just fell asleep a little while ago. Let me sleep. So he goes, no. He goes, he goes, come on, open the door. It's really, really important. So I'm like, okay. Now I'm like totally discombobulated because I'm between the wake state and the dream state. And I'm like trying to hold on to this cat because I want to hug her, and I know I have to get up because he's like, you got to get up. So I'm like, what's wrong? So he goes, just get up. He says, somebody's here to see you. No, first he says it's an emergency. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, give me a minute. I have to find my clothes. And I'm looking for my clothes, but I can't function because I was just in a really, really deep sleep. So he goes, no, it's not an emergency. He goes, just come here. He says, somebody's here to see you. So I'm like, all right, somebody's here to see me. I says, okay, just give me a minute. Let me, get dressed. So I get dressed and I open my bedroom door and my son is standing there with a cat. And he goes, look what I found. I have no words. I started to cry. I didn't know, like, I just, it was so bizarre. And this cat just like reached over and put her arms around me, her paws around me, and was hugging me. And I sat with her for hours and fed her. I gave her a bath, to feed her and all that stuff. And this morning I found a home for it. It was a kitten. It could have been more than 2 or 3 months. He found her on the road. So when that happened, my brain kind of was like not short circuiting, but didn't know the difference if I was still dreaming or if that was actually happening. Because, like I said, this dream state is starting to merge with the wake state. It's a little different than the lucid dreaming, but you guys are going to start noticing that if you haven't. I mean, it's happening very, 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 very fast. It's escalating. Your dreams are going to be very vivid and all that stuff I spoke about before. As far as the lucid dreaming, people that are having this experience that are still able to do certain things in that state are noticing in their awake state that their friends or family members or coworkers are very standoffish with them. Because when they're in that lucid dream, they're either, arguing with them or just not being the person that they are here. Maybe they're being a little malicious, whatever they're doing to them. And when they're in the wake state, they're noticing that these people are starting to push away, but the people themselves don't know why. Okay, but the person having the lucid dream does. So it is definitely colliding into each other. And then we have uh, the deja vu thing going on also. So if you could look at it as top, bottom, and like right here, it's hard to explain, it doesn't matter, but they're all kind of colliding into each other. Okay. Just like the other you is also colliding into this one frequency that's right about here. Okay. The deja vu thing, the way I've explained it before many times, we're all still home. We've never left. Okay. We are actually nowhere. Okay. People say, no, I'm on earth and I could feel it and it's solid. And no. You're nowhere. It's all happening. It's all happening in the mind of your soul and the mind of the creator. Like I've explained before, you've never left home. You're tapped into something we could say like virtual reality glasses, and you're having this experience that you're in, you believe it. You believe it. Now, when you're not tapped into that, and you do go back, you do go back home sometimes before a dream, after a dream. That's why you can only remember a certain amount of time of a dream, of the sleep state when you're dreaming, and you're like, well, what did I do for the other 8 hours if I could just remember 3 minutes of my dream? And I don't care what science says, it's bullshit. Okay. And like I said, I've proven it, guys. My old channel, through other channels, I've called it. I've called a lot of things that science is now starting to understand. Okay. So those that said, no, you don't know what you're talking about, now are reaching out going, holy shit, how did you know that? Okay. Doesn't matter. But you do tap out of this, and you do kind of this is the way to put it. When you're not tapped into it, you're just a part of everything. You're back where you're from. and you're one with everything. There's nothing there when you're back with the creator. Like I've explained this before, there is no such thing as earth. There's no such thing as whoever you are, your pets, your house. There's no memory whatsoever. The only thing that you feel is that you're aware that you're aware. You're aware of yourself, but yourself, not as who you are right now, but yourself is a part of everything because you see everything because you're a part of everything. Okay? You are given this opportunity from the creator to have this experience, this virtual reality experience is the best way I could put it, to develop a soul's identity. And like I've said before, the way that this is done is through acts of kindness, love, but most of all through pain and sorrow, hate, anger, all of it is where you really develop a soul's identity because that's where you find love the most. Okay. So those of you that beat yourself up because you've done certain things, please don't beat yourself up. You're learning. You really, really are learning. And some people do catastrophic things or what we call inhumane and horrible, but it's all a learning process. You will find love through that. You will find an identity through that. Okay, I don't have to get deep into that because most people that have done things that they feel that they shouldn't have and they have remorse over it have found compassion, have found humbleness, through that experience, although society won't give them the time of day. The lesson that they took is priceless from it, and that's all that matters. Okay, so it's a little hard to explain. Okay, everything is hard to explain. We are all creating collectively, right? And we're all responsible. Like I said, we're all feeding each other's story, creating each other's story, creating each other's scenario one at a time. Every single thing, okay, is collective. We're all collectively doing it. What is happening now, okay, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, that's why you have deja vu. And like I said before, you're actually getting a glimpse of a millisecond of what you've already done, and that's God or self, whatever you want to. That's the way of saying you're on the same path. You need to get off and go on a different one. Okay. So through reincarnation, we get to absorb all these experiences where we're good, we're bad, we're this, we're that, we're that, we're that, we're that, we're everything. We every personality, every scenario, every outcome, every decision. We keep coming back and keep coming back. If one does not get off the same path that they are on, that they have repeated many times, this is a hard one, okay? When you leave here, you will not take your memories with you. I had a really hard time with this for years and years. I mean, I never understood why when I was back in that space where I was everything, I had no memory of nothing. I was content just being a part of everything, which was nothing. But nothing in itself is everything. It's the best way I could explain it. And as the years went by, recently, I now understand why that is. So instead of creating collectively, like we have been, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is giving us the opportunity now. I mean, just picture him like saying, "Oh, come on, guys, you've done this so many times before. You're still choosing the same road. You still, all right, you know what? I'm going to throw you guys a bone." Okay, basically. And that's what, you know, some being empaths or, the Mandela Effect and all this stuff. That's exactly what this is, the synchronicities, the signs. He's trying to show us that we need to do something else because at this time, we are no longer required to create collectively. I know that's going to be a hard pill, okay? we are no longer expected, required to do that. We are now able to start creating our own life for ourselves, the way we want it, the way we want to experience it. And it's a difficult process because you're taking one and you're now like kind of dividing it into two. Okay, which is okay because we have permission to do that. And that's why all these changes are happening, and what we call bizarre, you could be thinking about someone and they call, or all the what we call coincidences and synchronicities. This is all happening because we're being shown it's not a coincidence, it's not synchronicity. You're actually creating it a few minutes before it's created. You're manifesting it. Okay. So, like I said, we're trying to all go solo right now to have our own experience. And there are growing pains, and we're going through it. I do believe that there are interferences. Some people get into, chemtrails and they're poisoning us. No, they're not. They breathe in the same air we breathe. They would be poisoning their grandchildren, their children. It's not that. There's something different. Oh, but there's chemicals in there. Yeah, there are. Because certain chemicals interact with other chemicals and have an effect on frequency. Okay? I'm not going to get into all the shit. I'm just telling you can believe what you want to believe. But I've been sneezing like crazy for 2 days. Yeah, so if anything, the chemtrails are manipulating a vibrational frequency, okay, that we're experiencing through other things. So it is, I want you guys to understand what I'm saying, because believe me, it's not easy to understand, or, some of you would go, holy cow, that makes a lot of sense. This is why we are going through this. We no longer want to create collectively because it's a mess. And not only that it's a mess, but we've done the story so many times that it's time to separate. Okay. And by doing this, you will create your own experience, but you have to have the understanding without a doubt in your mind. You know what you are. You know what this is. All of it, without a doubt in your mind. Not that every time you're showing, you're like, oh, okay, now I believe it. Now I believe it. Well, I'll believe it if you give me another side. No, it's not going to happen for you. You're going to stay in limbo, and you're going to keep going back and forth, no matter how many brick buildings fall on your head, until you finally surrender and say, I get it. This is not real. I know where I'm from. I know what created us. All of it. And then you will be able to separate yourself from the collective mind, which I'm not saying the one collective, the one mind, which is God, because everything that we do, he experiences. We're not disconnecting from him, but he's allowing us to disconnect from everyone else. And I know that sounds weird, because people say, no, it's just one mind and we all reside in it. No. There is a separateness. There is a separateness from the one mind. And those that experience, they know what I'm saying. Although you are one and this and that, yes, but there is a separateness. I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyway, so this yearning and this thing that we're doing right now is creating solo, and we're learning, and it's difficult because it's baby steps, because we don't know how to do this. All right. For the most part, some of us are playing around with it, and we're like testing it. And we're like, oh yeah, wow, look at that just happened. Holy cow. Okay, let me test it again. Well, there is something to this. And maybe I am manifesting things in a way. Some people are playing with it, and some have just learned to understand, sit back, and start concentrating on what they really want. Even though, like I said, you're getting knocked on your ass for whatever interference that is going on, we are stronger. And we're doing it, and if you look at it as an attachment that's trying to come apart for the very first time, through permission, of course, It's difficult. It's difficult, but it will be worth it. Because once you have the understanding, and I cannot stress that enough, of everything, when you leave this experience, when you take off those virtual reality glasses and you leave this experience, now you are allowed to take your memories with you. There is no other way. You will be allowed to take your memories with you, because when you go back, you're not going to be like, oh, well, I miss my kids and I miss my husband. It's not about that. You will go back and go, that was awesome. There will be no attachment to everything that you left behind, because everything that you left behind, you will have the understanding was part of an experience. It was an illusion. Okay. And then and only then can you bring back memory, because you can't have the attachment to it. All right. And the best way to do that is to detach yourself from the outcome of things, of what you expect from people, what you expect from yourself. Okay. And just be. And once you're able to, like I said, once you're able to take those virtual reality glasses off and be where you are, where you're from, and you become everything, your soul is starting to create its own identity now. Now, when you incarnate as something else or as somebody else, because that cycle is now closed, you will have an understanding in that carnation of what you are. And I mean, some of it could look at it, I don't really read too much into Jesus, but somebody could look at it and say, well, you know what? He came to this playground and he knew this and he knew that, and he was this magical person that had the answers to everything. And then you could say, well, maybe he's carnated so many times, he's learned, he detached himself, kind of like an egg. He detached himself from the whole, still connected through the mind experience, okay, with the whole, but was given the opportunity to create himself and for himself. And through that, was able to reincarnate into the reality that we're experiencing, the earth, whatever, and was able to tell people what he understood about life after death and what this is all about. So that's the path that we're on right now. I hope that that made sense to you guys, because these things are really difficult to explain. All right. So with that, keep that in mind. If you keep falling back into the drama, falling back into the mundane bullshit that goes on, and it's up to you. It's what's going to happen. I understand that we're still here and we have to have an experience, but at this stage of the game, like I said before, it's time to get off the stage. Stop participating in it. Yeah, you can go out with your friends and enjoy everything, but do it with all your heart and soul and thankfulness and understanding that this paradise is given to you. And now you have the opportunity to create your own paradise, but you have to let go of all the things. And that's why I spoke about that in my other video. Apologize to those that you feel that you've done wrong. And even if it wasn't your fault, you know, maybe you said something that you regret because you didn't want to, you're not that type of person, whatever the case may be. Shed all the anger, shed all the hatred, shed all the resentment, the victimization feeling. Oh, I've been a victim my whole life. And shed it all. Shed it all. This is stupid to say the universe, because there is none, but okay. The creator will help you create your next chapter. But like I said, you have to be ready, because those that are not ready cannot wake up one morning and be able to start manifesting things, because they will use it for the wrong reasons. They will, no matter how spiritual you think you are and how great you think you are, when you have this ability and you're aware of it, you will use it to your advantage, and therefore you will manipulate certain situations. And you can say, no, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you will. Okay, so you have to let all that go, come from a pure pure place, and prove it to yourself. Prove it to yourself every day that you're becoming what you want to become. And through that, you will start to notice the things that you desire will start popping up around you. You don't have to sit and concentrate on it. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to meditate on it. It will come and you will see it and you will smile. Okay? So it's not like you're going to be able to manifest through. No, it doesn't work that way because we're young, unexperienced souls that the ego might take that and go, oh, later, no. So it's going to come to us, but it will be created through our desire, not exactly the way we picture it, the way we want it to come to us, but it will. And guys, I know this is going to sound crazy, but don't worry about time. I don't care if you're 80 years old and you're listening to this video and you're like, well, my life is almost over. And, for me to start now, don't worry about time. Because as you do this, time ceases to exist. It just does. You'll see. You're working in a different space where although you're watching the clock go by for you, it becomes completely different. Time becomes completely different. Okay. One more thing I want to touch on before I go. For those that are feeling still a little under the weather, I know that many of you experienced the 2 days of bliss that I was talking about. And it was amazing, fantastic. I had quite a few actually comments and people emailing me, which my email is below. So if anyone needs to get in touch with me. Continue staying hydrated. Also, your bodies are going to experience an iron deficiency at this time. B12 Iodine, iron deficiency, and you're going to feel it. You're all feeling it. If you want to take a supplement, take a supplement. If not, eat a lot of greenery so you can get that iodine. And for those that don't eat red meat, sorry guys, for those that don't eat red meat, for whatever reason, find a source of iron, okay? You have to. Because we're going through a dehydration period more so now than I spoke about in my other video. Very bad, okay? B12 deficiency, iron deficiency, iodine, okay? Like I said, if you want to take it in a capsule, take it in a capsule. I prefer to eat food that have that in it, okay? Yeah, so that's about it. I love you all. I will be back here soon. If you have to listen to this message a little bit, this video a little bit, more than once to kind of absorb it, get it in, go for it. Yeah, you might not get it the first time around. I hope you do. I usually don't play back my own videos. So, but I think I explained it easy enough. Okay. So God bless all of you. And I will be back here soon.